Okay, today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what to do when you're drawing a hallway that has a middle back wall. In other words, your true back wall is all the way back here, and your middle back wall is in the front. If you want to see a closer up version of this hallway, this is the hallway that leads to the math department. You'll see that this is the middle back wall right here. This is the large rectangle. And normally I've taught people to start with this wall first and then cite their angles for their ceiling and their floor. But then when they go back and try to get this to work with this, sometimes they have difficulty. So this is a quick little step-by-step way of doing that. I've got a worksheet that kind of shows basically the same steps, but I'm just going to show you real quick. So let's dive right into that. We'll pretend like we have already cited our back wall. Our back wall will probably be really, really small because it's really far, far, far away. It's all the way back, you know, in this larger hallway back here. We would do our math here when we divide our number of bricks, 12, 13, or 14. Then what we would do is we would do almost everything the same way as we did in the other demonstration. But a couple things different. You would still, cite your ceiling lines. Pretend like, that we've cited those accurately and done that. You'd still cite both of those left and right, and sometimes they go off the top of the page, sometimes they go off the side of the page, so it depends. And then you would then cite only one floor line. Don't cite both, just cite one. Let's say that we've cited this one, that we've taken our pencil and we've cited the angle, and that we have drawn this one. Well, what we want to do now is we want to create that middle back wall. And even though there's probably a good 20, 30 feet of difference between this wall and this middle back wall, you'll notice that on this flat piece of paper, it's maybe a centimeter at best. Like, it's not a lot of space. And if you're doing an even deeper hallway, such as this one, okay, you'll have probably only like a few millimeters of space there to show that there's a depth to the hallway. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and create that middle back wall. What you would do is you would say, okay, how much space is there from the doorway in that middle back wall to the actual side of the back wall? How much would there be? And you just have to eyeball that. You just have to kind of guess that. Let's say that that space was here, okay? And well, let's go back a little further. Let's go back here. And then what you would have to do then, this is where the wall's meeting. It would come onto the floor, okay, just like this wall comes onto the floor. This would come onto the ceiling, just like this line lines up with the ceiling. And then once you feel like you got the thickness of this correct, you would make a temporary rectangle. Of course, you would do this all with really light pressure. Then what you would have to do is you would have to take your ruler and you would have to, butt it up or line it up, underneath here. Of course, that's how you would have done everything. You would have butted up your ruler for every vertical and horizontal line. And you would have come over to this side of the hallway and created a light line like so, and a light line like so that's going to run right into that ceiling line right there. You've got to decide, okay, how far is this? If you're in the center, it's going to be even. If you're more to the left side of the hall, you're going to see more of the right wall than you will the left wall. It just depends on where you are in the hallway, middle, left, or right. But then you're going to bring this down, butt up your ruler, measure the thickness of this, okay? Make sure it's the same thickness over here. And I would do all this lightly. And then what you would do, there's two things you would do then. You would go ahead and instead of citing this last floor line, you would connect this corner to this corner and just keep on going off the page wherever it happens to go. And then it looks like that these are the side of your walls. Now, as far as like the top part of this wall goes, how thick this should be, after you do your brick math and you do like your 12, 13, or 14 bricks here and here, eventually when you make those lines later on and you do these, then you'll know that, hey, there's actually, let's pretend like the 2 bricks are here, just for the sake of argument. Then you'll know that, hey, this is the top of your doorway. Everything would have been done lightly so that way nothing shows up. And then all of a sudden it looks like you've got this middle back wall and this rear wall back here. Again, you need to go kind of small. If you go too big, this will be too big and you'll have a very, very shallow hallway. But that in a nutshell is how you would create a hallway with a middle back wall.